The views and opinions expressed here on Wrestling Winedown are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, employer, or company. What's up, guys? It's Lo, and you are tuned in to Wrestling Winedown, a female-founded and hosted podcast dedicated to professional wrestling and our favorite adult beverage. We are back with another episode of our series, The Life of a Wrestling Fan, where we chat with individuals with amazing careers who also happen to be professional wrestling fans. I am honored to be joined by Dani Venen, also known as the Editorial Style. Dani is a photographer based out of Cleveland, Ohio, who has had the opportunity to shoot with AEW talents including TBS champion Julia Hart, Leila Grey, Lady Frost, Maria Kanellis, and many more. Along with being an amazing photographer, Dani is also a professional wrestling fan. She's spilling the wine on her love of professional wrestling, what has kept her engaged and excited about the sport, as well as how she was able to find All Elite Wrestling in 2021. Dani is also spilling the wine on her experience as a self-taught photographer and some of the lessons she's learned along the way. Dani also shares with us what it means to her to be able to combine her love of professional wrestling as well as her love of photography to be able to work with wrestlers and shoot these amazing portraits of them, as well as what it meant to her to have her work displayed on AEW television. With the new year around the corner, we are also manifesting on this episode. Dani is sharing who she would like to shoot with next on the AEW roster and what we could look forward to in the future. So grab your favorite glass of bubbly. We're going in for the 3 count. Welcome back to Wrestling Winedown. We are back with another episode of our series, The Life of a Wrestling Fan, where we talk to individuals with amazing careers who also happen to be professional wrestling fans. I am so honored to be joined by Dani Venen. You've probably seen her work on AEW television with Julia Hart, as well as Leila Grey and others, which we will definitely get into. Dani, welcome to Wrestling Winedown. How are you?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to have you on. Before we came on, I actually told you how much I love your work, and I can't wait to hear about how you got into the field of photography. How long have you been a professional wrestling fan for?
Consistently about 2.5 years. But if we want to go way back in, I think it was 2014 when my husband and I first met. He had been a lifelong wrestling fan, and so we met shortly after CM Punk walked out of WWE. So it was like very intense for him at the time.
Yeah.
And so when we were getting to know each other, he told me all about how he loved wrestling. He showed me the pipe bomb, and he showed me a couple of like the big matches, and I was so intrigued by it because I love theater and action and stunt work, and so that all went together, and I was so interested in the behind the scenes aspect of wrestling, like what goes into the rehearsal and the choreography, what goes into the scripting. Do the commentators know what's going to happen? I was so interested in the behind the scenes because growing up, I loved filmmaking too. So that all just went hand in hand. I never went out of my way to watch it on a weekly basis back then, but we were invited to a few WrestleMania watch parties and other events with our friends. So we always went there, and I always had a lot of fun, but we never watched on a week-to-week basis until back in 2021 when CM Punk was coming back to wrestling to AEW. We had never heard of this company. So we're like, oh, why don't we just give another company a chance? Like, let's see what they're doing. And it was All Out 2021 was the moment that it clicked for me. I remember the exact moment. It was the match between MJF and Chris Jericho. The moment that Chris Jericho puts his foot onto the ropes, I was hooked.
So you mentioned that you kind of got into it when you started dating your husband, and now you start watching AEW. Is it the storytelling? Is it the wrestlers? Is it all of the above? Is it the theater aspect? Like, what keeps you wanting to come back every single week and watch WWE, AEW, professional wrestling in general?
I think it's all of that. It's the thrill, it's the week-to-week storylines, and it's the people, it's the wrestlers for sure, like watching them grow and flourish, and also seeing the amazing matches. And now that I have a personal connection with a lot of wrestlers through my photography career, I have a much stronger connection with the show itself.
What companies did you enjoy watching when you first started getting into wrestling versus now? Do you keep up with any independent wrestling? Who are some of your favorite wrestlers to watch on a weekly basis?
Back in 2014, I think the only like major wrestling company that was out there was WWE. So that was that was what we had kept up with. But it wasn't until we started watching AEW in 2021 where we're like, oh, there's so many more wrestling companies. My husband is a huge New Japan fan. He surprised me with, well, it was kind of like funny. I accidentally found out that he got us tickets to see AAA come to Cleveland shortly after Christmas. So that was my Christmas gift. So we're going to that. So
Ooh.
I feel like, to me, I don't think it necessarily matters what the brand is, what the company is, as long as they are putting out really great content and they're caring for their wrestlers, they're caring about their audience and the company, and just like putting out the best that they can do. And I feel like AEW right now, at least for me, that is the peak of wrestling right now. Some of my favorite wrestlers to watch on AEW are Julia Hart, Juice Robinson, Kenny Omega, The Righteous, The Outrunners. I love all the girls. The girls are absolutely amazing. Skye, Leila, Anna Jay, Red Velvet, they're Lady Frost, like they are just phenomenal. But I feel like my top two would have to be Julia and Juice.
What is it about Juice for you? Is it the fact that he's just so over the top? I feel like he's very much giving theater kid.
Oh, for sure. I feel like I see like a lot of myself in him too, because I'm just a goofball. And like he just has literally the cutest smile you've ever seen. So whenever he smiles, you smile, and like he's just so funny. Like he just goes from 0 to 100 every single time. And I have a beta fish and I named him Juice Robin Swim.
Oh.
And so when my husband and I went to the Lexington collision, I had a sign that said I named my fish Juice Robin Swim, and all of Bullet Club saw it, and Juice came over to me and got a picture with me with the sign.
Oh, how sweet.
I couldn't breathe for 5 minutes.
Let's move on to your photography. You are an amazing photographer. When did you discover your love of photography? Did you have that moment? It's almost like an aha moment, kind of like you had with wrestling, where you had that moment during that MJF and Chris Jericho match where you were like, this is what I love. Did you have that when it came to being a photographer?
I can't remember if there was a very specific aha moment, but I know that growing up, I just loved creating art, especially digital media. I come from a family of photographers. Like my grandparents loved nature photography, and I got my very first digital camera when I was 10 years old on Christmas. And like my whole family just encouraged my passion for art. But I started getting serious with my photography back in 2016. I did my first wedding and went from weddings to senior portraits to, in 2020, I started doing creative portraits. I feel like, okay, the aha moment is coming. So it was in 2020. I feel like we all found our passions in 2020. Yeah. I was on TikTok and I saw a photographer and I was just blown away by their work, and they inspired me to invest in all this new equipment. And so year after year following that, I was just following so many more photographers who are now some of my closest friends, and they inspire me. And I feel like the biggest aha moment for me was just knowing that my work can make someone feel something. The fact that I'm able to make someone feel so beautiful, that just means the world to me.
You're also a self-taught photographer. How has this route of learning treated you? Do you have any regrets about not going to school to learn photography versus teaching it to yourself?
I have no regrets on that. I have saved a lot of money with it. And I feel like teaching yourself any kind of art, you get to go at your own pace, especially now in the age of the internet. If you have a question about anything you want to learn, you can just look it up on TikTok, YouTube, Google, like in an instant, and like, oh, boom, new knowledge. I feel like I'm exactly where I need to be right now in photography, and like I'm just slowly moving forward at my own pace. I'm not going too fast, not going too slow, and I love that I've been able to teach myself because I can take my knowledge of teaching myself and then teach others.
You specialize in creative shoots to weddings to boudoir shoots. Do you have a personal favorite that when you get a booking for it, you're just like, yes, I can't wait to do this?
Oh yeah, whenever I hear the words "you have full creative control" or "style something for me," I'm like, yes, because that means like they just trust my creative vision, and like they're not afraid to get messy, or they're not afraid to do something weird in front of the camera. Like I do a lot of photo shoot roulettes. I'm pretty sure I actually started the trend of photo shoot roulette, where you have a number of concepts that are mystery, and people just pick a number, and then they don't know the concept until the day of the shoot. So
Oh,
it's a
wow.
total surprise. And I feel like the biggest surprise shoot that I did, my neighbor actually booked it. I did a rainbow roulette. She chose the color purple. All she knew was just the color purple and what makeup to do, and I covered her in worms.
How did you come up with this photo shoot roulette? I have definitely not heard of that before.
It mostly came from me wanting to do more photo shoots that were styled by me that like I really wanted to do. But I feel like if I posted the mood board, one, people would be excited, but probably not super excited if they knew exactly what they were getting into. And two, I didn't want people to steal the exact idea that I had. I feel like just being able to surprise people and being able to be creative with all of that, and allowing people to book with me who have never booked with me, because the photo shoot roulettes are always discounted because you're kind of taking a risk. Doing that, it allows more people to step out of their comfort zone and to take a risk and have fun.
That is super cool. I've never heard of that. I haven't even seen anything like that out here in Vegas. So some people in Vegas might hear. And roulette, Vegas, I feel like it would go together.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about your work with AEW wrestlers, including Julia Hart, Lady Frost, Skye Blue, and Leila Grey. How did your interaction with these women begin, and what was it like to shoot with them?
Oh man, so back in July, I think, Julia Hart followed me on Instagram, and I freaked out. I was screaming, I'm like, oh my God. I showed my husband, I'm like, oh my God, Julia Hart followed me. And then it was a couple days later, she reached out to me and she's like, your work is so good. I would love to do a shoot with you. Because I'm from Cleveland. They were coming to Columbus one week, but I was going to be in Utah that same week. So I'm like, oh no, I'm missing my opportunity. But we made it work with the Lexington show. And Julia is one of the sweetest people. Like, she's so awesome, so funny, so cool. I love how she and I have become genuine friends over not only being into wrestling, but like working together and being able to be creative together. And like, she's just awesome. And Skye's a goofball. Like, I love her. She's so awesome. Lady Frost is so cool. Leila is amazing. Just being able to interact with these amazing people at a personal level, like getting to know them, and because photography is very intimate, and like having them trust me with my ideas and with whatever they're comfortable with, like it's very, very flattering. It's very empowering to me. It just makes me feel just so good and just so happy. And these photo shoots are just so much fun, and because I get to combine photography and wrestling, it is a dream come true. It's unreal.
Who shot with you first, and was it kind of like a word of mouth thing? Did they see the photos on their timeline and then they reached out to you? How did that whole thing kind of go?
Julia reached out first, and so we did 3 shoots in about 3 hours. We did the checkmate one with all the chess pieces, and then we did the rotten to the core with the candy apples, and then the slime shoot is genuinely one of my all-time favorite concepts I have ever done. Like, the photo of her with her hands up with the slime going down is genuinely in my top 10 favorite photos I've ever taken. And yeah, so once we posted those to Instagram, like, I had so many other wrestlers follow me. It was Leila Grey and Willow Nightingale, Diamante, and Lady Frost then followed me. It just kept going and going and going. Like, it was like so overwhelming. And I had a good handful of the women wrestlers reach out to me for shoots, and I've reached out to some of them, and I think I've worked with maybe like 7 so far. I'd have to say, like, it's gone by so fast, and like everything's a blur right now. But I do have a lot of really fun shoots that I am creating and planning for the future. Hopefully I can do a lot more next year.
Yes. With these photo shoots with these AEW ladies, were these ones that they kind of brought the theme to you, or did you present a theme to them?
It's a little bit of both. Depends on the wrestler. Julia is down for anything that I create. We were going to do a totally different concept with Skye, but then that was before Julia sprayed her with the mist. So then after I sprayed her with the mist, I kind of wanted to keep the concepts to their character. Didn't want to go like too out of character. So we had a totally different concept for Skye, but then we went with the spooky route. Lady Frost gave me a really cool concept for her, like with the Ice Queen. Maria Kanellis gave me a really cool concept for her, showing her whole journey from being a diva to now being, I think, an agent, like over her 20 years of wrestling. It depends on the wrestler if they want something more catered to their character, because I'll always ask if they have a certain idea that they want to bring to life, or if they want me to style something for them. And usually it's the latter.
Yeah, because the shoots that you did with Julia were so unique and they fit her character perfectly, like absolutely perfectly. Yeah, so you did an amazing job with those.
Thank you so much. Styling for Julia is so easy, but it's also so much fun.
You also recently had some of your awesome work with Julia on AEW television. How did it feel as a wrestling fan to be able to see your worlds collide like that?
I cried. It was absolutely unreal, because that was actually just supposed to be just for fun. Like that was one of the concepts that I styled for her, and I came up with the idea to do a video just for fun. Like I had no idea we were going to do like a promo. She loved it so much. I asked her if she could send me an audio promo, like just whatever, and she sent it to me. I put it together and I sent it to her same day. She showed it to the entire women's locker room, showed it to Bryan Danielson, showed it to Cody Rhodes, showed it to like the entire creative team. And it was like 2 days before the Rampage, before Wrestle Dream, I got a message from her. It was a screenshot of another message from one of the producers saying, "We want this video, like who made that video, we need their email." I got a call from one of the producers and they're just like, "We want this on the show." Absolutely unreal. They aired it 4 times.
Yeah.
That was absolutely insane. Like it's unreal. Like, and seeing it be her official video entrance now, like what? I never would have imagined anything that I created would be on national or international TV. Like this is blowing my mind still.
Are there any wrestlers that you would love to photograph if given the opportunity? If so, who? Like, do you have like a dream list of people you'd like to shoot?
Oh boy, yes. So I have a list of people who I am going to shoot very soon. And then I have a separate list of people that I have not reached out to yet, or haven't followed me yet, or just people that I just really want to shoot with. So the people that I really, really want, that I would love to shoot with or create a vignette with: Toni Storm. I love her. She's so funny. I would really love to do a photo shoot with the Guns. Like
that would be so awesome.
I feel like they would just be so great in an editorial shoot. Like I already have an idea for them that I would love to pitch to them. It involves like a lot of silver chains and like some really cool orange light and fog. So just like something really cool catered to their characters. Really want to shoot with Willow Nightingale.
Please do.
I love her. I would love to work with the Renegade Twins. They would be so cool to do a shoot with. Oh, I would love to do a vignette for the whole Bullet Club.
Oh,
I would love that.
That would be hilarious.
Oh my goodness. Literally anyone in AEW, I would love to do a photo shoot with.
Do you have any upcoming projects that listeners can keep an eye out for?
Yes. So January 1st, I just did a collab with Olipop.
I love me some Olipop, girl.
Me too. So they're promoting their mocktails, different recipes that you can mix with certain Olipops to make mocktails for dry January. So keep an eye out for that post. I'm not going to say who it is, but I will be making a vignette for one of my favorite tag teams, I think in January or February.
Okay.
They're flying to me, and I'm not going to say who it is, but I'm very, very excited. So
I can't wait to see. Yeah.
Keep an eye on TV for that. I'm going to start mentoring starting in January or February. Like, I'm finally going to start like doing classes, individual sessions with new photographers and experienced photographers. Whoever wants to up their game can work with me, and I can teach them everything I know. I'm going to be doing a lot more photo shoot roulettes. I think starting in January, I'm going to be doing a 90s theme roulette.
Ooh, I like that. Thank you, Dani, so much for joining me here on Wrestling Winedown. Where can the people keep up with you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at The Editorial Style. I also just rebranded my website to be theeditorialstyle.com. And the only social media platform that does not have The Editorial Style is Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, but it is _real_editor.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Wrestling Winedown. You can find all of our other episodes available wherever you listen to your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and iHeartRadio. We are on Twitter and Instagram at WWDCAST. We also have our official merch store, which you can find at shop.wrestlingwinedownlv.com. Let us know what you thought about this episode. What was your favorite part? Until next time, enjoy your wine and, of course, enjoy your wrestling. Cheers!